individuals who do any kind of planning in higher ed, strategic planning, operational planning, academic facilities, the whole thing. That's after 43 years of campus work. I came up through academic affairs. So, my degrees from Toledo, I have a bachelor's degree in psychology, and I have a second major in communication. And I also have a master's of education in educational psychology. And then I went off to Catholic University in Washington, D.C. and got a PhD. My specialty is developmental psychology. So I came up through academic affairs, did the faculty thing, got tenure, promoted, and then worked in academic administration for my career. I'm in Cleveland. I'm a native Clevelander. I was fortunate enough to get an academic job in my hometown. So that all worked out really well. My wife is also an alum. We met at UT. She received a BSN, got my bachelor's degree in '79, and my master's degree in '82. And I had the good fortune of coming back to UT to do a year-long fellowship in the president's office at the time with Daniel Johnson. So I was back at UT in 2003, 2004. So excited to be invited to join this group and continue to promote the university. It's done some wonderful things.
Thank you so much for joining us. Glad to have you. Charlene, would you mind going next?
Sure. I'm Charlene. Hi, everybody. I'm Charlene Gilbert. I'm Dean of the college, and it's a pleasure to be here with all of you this evening. This is my 4th year as Dean, and it has really gone by quickly, with the exception of the COVID year, which felt like 5 years. And so, but the 3 years before that went by really fast. And I, prior to coming to join the university, I was a dean at Ohio State University. And prior to that, I was at UT. So I left UT and came back, and really have been quite happy to be the inaugural dean for the new configuration of the College of Arts and Letters. My background is I have a bachelor's degree in economics and political science. I'm a documentary filmmaker, which is sort of the path I came into the academy on. And so I have an MFA from Temple, became a tenured professor, did all that, and then I decided to move into administration, and University of Toledo was my first administrative position. I became a director of a center, department chair, director of a school, and then again left to go to OSU, became a dean, and came back here to serve as dean. And I also have my PhD in education from the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. And I have 2 kids. I'm about to become an empty nester. I'm having a little bit of a crisis of life, thinking about the fact that in 6 months I will have way too much time on my hand, apparently. But that just makes me think, okay, so what really big project did I want to always do for the College of Arts and Letters? Like, now I'm going to have time. So that's where we are right now. Yeah, I think those are the highlights for me.
Thank you, Charlene. Ryan?
Hi, everyone. I'm Ryan Wright. I'm a graduate from College of Arts and Letters, obviously, specifically from the English department in 2012. And from there, I also got another master's degree at the school just south at Bowling Green State University. And I know Dr. Gilbert. And I have worked in English departments or in a staff position in international education at U Toledo, Bowling Green, and Miami University. And I was there for several years. And then also, like Dr. Gilbert, I came back. So that's a good sign that we're coming back home. So I've been back, and I'm working at the Center for International Studies and Programs. One way or another, I've been tied to international education since the beginning of my career, really. And I currently serve on the Alumni Association Board of Trustees, and I co-chair the Outreach Committee. I'm also president of the LGBTQA+ alumni affiliate. And I want to take this time to say I will be leaving shortly at around 6 o'clock because I need to attend a scholarship review committee, because for the first time we will be offering a scholarship to an LGBTQA+ student. So we're very proud of that. Nice to meet you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Ryan. Tom?
Sure. Yeah, thanks. Tom Sondergeld. I graduated from Arts and Letters from the Psychology Division in 1987. So I look a lot younger than I am, but it was a pleasure to have been in university. A long family history of University of Toledo. My sister went to the pharmacy school. My dad went to the pharmacy school. My mom went to the nursing school. So just long history of the University of Toledo. Very proud to be from there. Got my master's degree in healthcare administration. Found my way from respiratory therapy after University of Toledo. I got into respiratory care, took care of babies and children, wound my way into operations management at the Women's Hospital here in Chicago, and then found myself in HR. And I wound up in human resources about 23 years ago or so, doing benefits. And so I've been a benefit leader for the past 23 years at many major employers like Aon and Hewitt, and lastly at Walgreens. The last 9 years were at Walgreens. I left there in 2019, then got hit by the pandemic, and I created my own consulting agency. I do healthcare consulting, and right now I work for a coalition that supports employers called the Employer Health Innovation Roundtable up in Minnesota, work remotely. And then I also consult for McKinsey and Company. And so very proud of my consulting background and consulting that I've been able to work into. And very proud of my University of Toledo background. So happy to be here and happy to be a part.
Thank you so much. Mr. Cobb, I just got back from Georgia and I want to go back.
Well, it's 81 degrees here,
I
so
know.
woohoo! Yeah.
I'm jealous. I was not ready to get on that airplane. I was like, I don't want to.
Yeah, got the sunroof wide open. So yeah.
Short of the voting right, short of the voting rights laws, right? It's only nice place.
Well, no, you turn your radio up real loud and you don't even think about that. Yeah, you don't even think about that. Yeah.
Florida.
Yeah, so you're good. Yeah, but I'm also I'm Tom. I'm 87 graduate of the University of Toledo. The old I guess now arts and letters in communications, and spend most of my time really helping folks with digital marketing solutions. And as we mentioned earlier, I'm here in Atlanta, Georgia. Been here for a while, and always looking for ways to give back. There was a guy there at the University of Toledo, Phil Leakey, really sent me a letter of introduction. That's how I got here. So I'm always looking for ways to give back, because there's a direct link to how I got here from a professor really helping me. So, yeah.
Thank you. Cindy?
Yes, I cannot do the Zoom thing because I'm blind, but I do it on the phone. So can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay, great. My name is Cindy Shunk, and I've been a UT alumni for a long time. My parents went to UT back in the 70s, graduated in the College of Education. They're both educators. And I followed through in 2000, got my Bachelor's of Arts in 2004 in Communication and Broadcasting. And then I went for another degree, my Master's in Liberal Studies in Disability Studies in 2008. And then I did some volunteer work for a while. Then I joined the Alumni Board in 2010. And me and my family have always supported the UT Rocket football. And then I was a call center interviewer for 5 years until COVID hit last year. And I lost my job like a lot of other people did. So I'm looking for another one, and I'm not giving up. I want to do customer service, and I'm on this board of trustees, and I love it. And I've helped out this group with events such as apple picking, which I hope we can do next fall. And hopefully I can actually go to football games next year. I renew my ticket, so we'll see. And you mentioned about having the sunroof open. I was in the car earlier, and we had some Billy Joel playing, and we had the windows down and the sunroof open all the way, and it was great. I felt like I was on a vacation in Georgia or Florida, but it's right here. So beautiful
Cindy,
weather.
I thought of you today because one of my coworkers was talking about having tickets to see Billy Joel, and she was wondering if they would be able to pull it off this year. And I was like, well, I would probably assume next year. But
Okay, well, let me know if you go and how much fun it was. Let me know how it was. I
course,
can't
of
afford
course.
to go. You know, I'm not
Thank you
working.
for joining us,
I didn't mean
Cindy.
to bring that up. I just thought it's funny because we all like that. No, really, I'm hopeful we can go to football games next fall.
You and me
Yeah.
both. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us this evening. I would like to invite Charlene to provide an update on what's going on in the college.
Okay, happy to do that. Just have a few brief updates since the last time we were together. But a couple things. The university, I think, as everyone knows, has a new president. Dr. Gregory Postol was made the permanent president, and one of his first acts, even before he became permanent, he was interim, he set up these 10 or 12 strategic working groups. One was looking at strategic reinvestment in the academic mission, and there's one that was looking at elimination of racism, and there's one that's looking at budget modernization. I actually am on the budget modernization committee, and so that's been looking at a possible new model for the budget model for the university that's going to be focused on what's called responsibility-centered management. And one of the other committees, the Strategic Reinvestment Committee, they asked each dean to provide 5 of your top priorities for strategic reinvestment. I'm really pleased to share that all 5 of the ones I submitted for our college were approved. So we one of our first is to get a big investment in our summer. So we're going to be offering a very robust summer course offerings, which is both good for our students and also good for the university fiscal health, because it is in our college, we are able to really do well with summer in terms of it being a profitable semester as well. The fall semester, you may or may not have heard, but the university is trying to expecting to be back to normal, particularly as the pace of vaccinations has picked up. So we're planning, literally up until about 2 weeks ago, we were planning for a fall where we were trying to get back to normal, but we were still going to be wearing masks and we were still going to be social distancing for 6 feet. The challenge with that is that essentially our institutions weren't built for that, right? The classrooms weren't built for 6 feet of social distancing. So that meant that many of our classes, we didn't have enough classes with the reduced social distancing that could fit in-person classes. We were going to have to do a hybrid model where the students, half of them would be online and half might be in the classroom. The students really don't like that model at all. And so as we were thinking about kind of the fall and how we could, meet the goal of getting back to something to look more like our pre-COVID selves, the university worked with the local public health department, and we got new guidance that we can now do 3 feet of social distancing, which is going to allow us we hope to be at 80% face-to-face and 20% online next fall. The students will still have to wear masks, but they'll be in-person classes, and they will be in classrooms. So we are really excited about that. So our department chairs and faculty and staff are right now in the process of looking at the new classrooms with the new ratings, and we're identifying classes that have been moved online due to social distancing to see if we can move those classes back face-to-face. And we have our fingers crossed that we will again be safely back to our regular fall schedule. So we're looking forward to that. Similarly, I think one key element to getting back to normal is vaccination. So I feel very fortunate. I got my vaccination this past Saturday. I had my second shot. It feels like a real game changer. The university is going to be also trying to make sure that all of our students get vaccinated. There's going to be a clinic this Saturday, a mass vaccination clinic for students specifically. And our goal is that when students leave this semester, that if they're going home to their home communities, whether it's near or far, that they're returning home vaccinated. And we know that that will also help slow the spread of COVID, and again, help secure our future in the fall of being back to, what many of our students and their families are talking, when they say we want to get back to normal. I will tell all of you that I, as an academic leader and as a a leader in the greater higher education community, I can tell you, I have said to my faculty that the notion of getting back to normal is one that we really might want to think about. I think that we will be face to face, but what we've just been through, we would be foolish to not let that has changed us. And some of it was awful, but some of it also reveals some new things and some new opportunities. So we will be thinking about how do we take the best of what came out of this experience to kind of leverage our future, and how do we also then get past the things that kept us apart from each other and separated. So vaccinations are the first thing. So that vaccination clinic is going to happen this Saturday, April 10th from 8 to 6 in the Student Union, and they have 3,000 shots available to students. So I'm really hoping the students come out, and I just sent out a note to students today encouraging them to come and get their vaccine. We are planning to do graduation both in person and virtually this year. So there's going to be an in-person graduation on May 8th. At 3 p.m. They're breaking the colleges up into smaller groups so that we're not all there at the same time. So we will be the College of Arts and Letters. There's one group that's going like at 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. and then there's another group. Our group will go at 3 p.m. It'll be outdoors. Will be spread out social distancing. Those of you as alum may remember, I'm sure all of you walked across the stage and shook hands with your dean upon receiving your degree. It will be a very, very long time before I'm shaking hands with 200 students. That's not going to happen. I did ask them if I could have permission to do the elbow. I'll do the elbow, but they will walk on the stage. Will just have as few people as possible. So I think I will be on the stage, the provost will be on the stage, the president will be on the stage, and maybe one person from the Board of Trustees, but it won't be like in the past, there'd be 20 or 30 people up on the stage. That's not going to happen. And again, the students will come up, we'll figure out some way to acknowledge them, and then they will leave, but there will not be sadly, there will not be the hugging and the handshaking in the past, but I know the students really appreciate, because December and last spring, there was no graduation. So all those students have also been invited back. If they like to come for an in-person graduation, they have the option of coming this spring. And I know a lot of students missed that. That was that's one of those kind of defining days in your life. And so we are really happy to be able to give students back that opportunity. We also do an award ceremony that's usually the day before graduation. And that's usually for the top students in the college. And it's a couple hundred people. We obviously won't be able to do that, but we are going to be we'll be presenting the outstanding students from each department with their medal, but it's going to be a small ceremony. And we have about 20 students, and we're going to do them one by one. So it starts at 3 o'clock on Friday, and we're scheduled to go until 8 o'clock. And what I'll be doing is it'll be me, the student, 2 people from their family, the photographer, and one other person from the dean's office. And we will present them with their award. We'll give them the medal. They'll take photos. They'll leave, and then the next person comes in. So we'll be doing that all day on Friday. So think of me. That's going to be a busy full day of individual award ceremonies for all of our outstanding students. We also have an award that we've started 2 years ago. So in addition to acknowledging our outstanding students at the honors and award ceremony, we now also acknowledge a faculty member in teaching, outstanding teacher, and outstanding scholarship, research, and creative excellence. And then we're also adding an outstanding service award. And then we're going to have an outstanding staff award. And those awards will be, the deadline for those are April 30th. And then we'll announce them in May. And then we are planning to formally award these awards in the fall at our opening reception. We do an opening reception every year. Obviously, we didn't do it during COVID. We are super hopeful that we will be able to do it in the fall. And that's where we will be doing the award for that. One of my priorities as a dean has been to increase opportunities for undergraduate research in our college. It's one of the experiences that really kind of capsulizes a kind of high quality undergraduate education. I had the great benefit of doing my undergraduate degree at Yale University. So I know how powerful that experience can be to research something you're really passionate about with a faculty member. So we've been really working hard to make that a priority for our students, and they have significantly increased their participation in undergraduate research opportunities. We've had, double-digit increases every year since I've been dean, and students participating in the university-wide undergraduate research symposium. And for this year, they're gonna there's actually a fund that supports students with undergraduate research. They get a stipend of $1,500. So that is coming up this year, and we're doing a big push to get as many of our students to apply for that and hopefully win those awards. We are also trying to increase our faculty externally funded research, and although we have limited opportunities in the arts and humanities, sadly, but there is some significant opportunities for our social science faculty, and so we've been trying to really encourage them and support them. We're doing a workshop on for how to fund the funding opportunities at the National Science Foundation on April 23rd. That's going to be done by my associate dean, Dr. Dan Hamill, who actually served as an NSF officer in DC several years ago. So he's got a sort of insider's track on those opportunities, and we're going to really push that. I've been engaged in a 3-year plan to try to increase external funding in research for the college, and that has one part of it. The very first part of it was just, I tell faculty all the time, it's like, you just have to apply. Like that's like, let's just increase applications, because it's like 50% of life is showing up, right? And so you can't get an award if you never apply for it. And then I tell them, and you're going to get rejected. Many of my colleagues who've gotten significant NSF awards, were rejected 3 times. Yes, exactly. Got it on the 3rd or 4th time. So I've been trying to kind of build that muscle up of we apply, we expect to get rejected. We look at the comments, we apply again, and then we get it. So I'm hopeful that in the next couple of years, we'll see some fruition that we have had pretty steady increases. Again, prior to the COVID year, there must be some language that I can use for that someone's going to come up with soon, like, things are going great, except for COVID year. like I need a shorthand. Like, how do things go? Things are all going up. We're going to just pull out that COVID year and not count that.
EC. It's like BC. Now it's EC.
Yes, exactly. Oh my, there it is, Tom. There it is, BC. External research funding was going up, BC. Enrollment was on its way up, BC. So like, tomorrow is Day of Giving, and so we are really excited. It begins, it's like a 36-hour big push, and we are really hoping, our goal is to have 250 donors. We have 2 alum that have already are offering $1,000 challenge donations, so we're hoping to match those and get all, not leave any money on the table. I hope you haven't gotten an email, you should be getting an email about Day of Giving. I sincerely hope you'll consider making a gift of any amount. Again, we're just trying to get to 250 donors, and every gift counts, and every gift makes a difference. We've been using our funds the last couple of years to support our college retention and graduation efforts. And again, I cannot tell you how many times we've saved a student who was thinking about not coming back because they owed $500 somewhere, or $250 or $300, and it turned out that that small scholarship kept them on track and they graduated. Excuse me.
Charlene, while you grab water, I'll listen note that I dropped the Day of Giving link into the chat box. And all the information is on that link. It is the platform specifically for the College of Arts and Letters. It has the matches on there, so if you're interested in seeing the matches, we're very fortunate to have amazing distinguished alums that we've awarded throughout the years at our homecoming galas. And Jeff Coleman, who is our 2021 distinguished alum, was kind enough to do the dollar for dollar match up to $1,000. And Eileen Bradner, who is a former Distinguished Alumni Award recipient, was kind enough to do the same. So if you're interested in supporting Day of Giving and the funds that Charlene is discussing, I dropped that link in the chat box.
Thanks, Sam. So that's those are some of the big highlights, and then we also have a number of our faculty have won a number of awards literally within the last few days. So I'm so pleased to be able to share with you that Suzanne Smith in the Department of English was just recognized with the Distinguished University Lecturer Award. Sujata Shetty and Joseph Hara. Sujata is in Geography and Planning. Joseph Hara is a Japanese professor. They both won the Edith Rathbun Outreach and Excellence Engagement Award. They usually give that to just 2 people in a year. This year they're giving it to 3, but 2 of the 3 awards are coming to faculty in the College of Arts and Letters. So we're really quite excited about that. The state of Ohio has a big award called Choose Ohio. It's designed to try to keep talented students in the state of Ohio to study STEM. There was a call for proposals, and we just found out that our proposal, which is in collaboration with the College of Engineering and the College of Natural Science and Mathematics, was awarded. It's a $1.4 million grant. It's going to support students who want to major in any of the engineering and NSM areas, but also in our college, which people don't always realize, we have a number of STEM degrees, including, so our students who want to major in our college will be data analytics, economics, or geography, and they have to have an interest in water and sustainability or renewable energy, and it will be a significant scholarship that will cover most of their tuition. So we are excited to be able to have that to offer to students. We also have 2 of our students, our doctoral student in the PhD program in spatially integrated sciences, and then a philosophy student, both just won top prizes in the university's competition called the 3-minute thesis competition, where they had to talk about their work in a very short amount of time in a compelling way. And again, amongst all the graduate students at the university, 2 of the top 3 awards went to students in our college. Really excited about that. And you know, and I would say overall that our students and faculty are doing exceptionally well, particularly in light of all that they have been through and all that we've been through in the past year. The faculty have had to reinvent themselves over and over again, reinvent their classrooms, think about ways to keep students engaged who were zoomed out, and the students have been, you know, getting through, like learning to learn in these new platforms and these new modalities. So I'm looking forward to the end of the semester. I'm looking forward to the end of this COVID semester and really excited about what comes next. So thank you. I'm happy to answer questions. Also, Nick, I want to say that I did SCUP 1, 2, and 3 in Tempe, Arizona. I went to their meeting in Ann Arbor, and then I went to I think 2 and 3 was in Tempe. And it was
That's fabulous. That's great to hear. That's great to hear.
Best trainings I've ever gone to.
Sure.
It really, it's funny how because it brings together people in both academic planning, facilities planning, and strategic planning. And you would be surprised how often those groups actually are not talking to each other. So when the academics decide we have a plan for the future, we're going to have classes of, you know, we're going to increase classrooms to 50, and they're going to be these innovative classrooms and and we announce some fancy plan, and then some guy in facilities like, well, that's all well and good, but you know, 95% of your classrooms only can seat 30 people. So maybe you should have talked to us before you went out there and announced that great big plan.
Oh, it's right on. I've heard that. I've heard your story many times. I've heard it from IT people when they talk about, you know, multimedia classrooms and no one's talked to the CIO. Yeah. Oh, yes. Yeah.
So I feel like I had a great advantage before I became a dean because I had done that SCUP training early. I was an AC fellow, and I think I
So was I. I was an AC fellow. I did mine at UT. I did my fellowship at UT. Yeah. So yeah, well, we've got a lot to chat about, Charlene.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, that's fabulous. Great. Great to hear.
Charlene? Is it Charlene, right?
Yes, I am, Charlene.
Yes, I have a question. You went through this kind of quickly. Are they having an annual meeting? You know how in the past they used to have it where you go to the meeting, they had dinner for you, and you sat outside, and they had the annual meeting? Are we having that this year? Because I know last year it was all virtual.
I can answer that question for you, Cindy. So the annual meeting is an event that's hosted by the Alumni Association,
right.
And we used to host it in the Kester Alumni Pavilion here on campus and have Tony Paco's hot dogs. And it was an opportunity to recognize our outgoing Alumni Association board members, welcome our new board members, and award our Alumni Association scholarships. So yes, to answer your question, we are hosting that event again this year. However, it will be virtual.
Okay.
We are looking at creative ways that we can host that event virtually, so it's not just our alumni association staff like talking at everyone.
Sure.
I mean, there's 300 people from all over the world that attend that virtual meeting, and we're looking at ways that we can kind of tie in some exciting ways for our alumni to engage. Like I said, there's hundreds of people from all over. How do we kind of connect everyone and come up with an opportunity to do more than just share with you what's happening within the Alumni Association?
Sure.
So that will take place on May 15th.
Okay.
We are looking at using the Zoom platform for that. Don't quote me on that. We're trying to find the best platform that works for that large of an event. But May 15th will be the date for that annual meeting. And it will include some of the similar pieces where we will recognize outgoing board members. Ryan, who was on the call earlier, he is ending his 2-year term on the Alumni Association board. So we just kind of talk about our board member service and then introduce to our attendees our incoming board members, in addition to recognizing some of our scholarship recipients.
Thanks very much.
No Tony Pacos, can't do that virtually.
It's okay. No, not maybe next year.
Yes.
Thanks.
Does anyone have any questions about the College of Arts and Letters? Questions for Charlene?
No, just thank you for that very, thorough report. Really appreciated it, Charlene. Thanks.
You're welcome.
I'm going to tease Ryan for this loaded question that he sent me in the chat, but he said he was going to ask whether there has been any particular positive or negative effects that COVID has had on the College of Arts and Letters that we should be aware of.
Yeah. Well, I think that really speaks to what I was talking about, making sure that we take a minute to really sort of digest what we've been through. I feel like the first 3 months or 3 to 6 months of COVID, we were so busy just trying to get through it and figure out how to survive and to do the, to function at a very basic level. And then I think the last 6 months, we got used to being in it in a way, and we figured out some things. We figured out some ways to teach. We figured out some new pedagogies. We figured out some new approaches. And I think we also were experiencing some fatigue. So I think that the impact on the students, there's a couple things. I worry about the impact on our student pipeline, because a lot of the students that are going to be coming to us in September, spent the last year not in classrooms. Some schools, I think TPS, the local public school, just went back to face-to-face like a couple weeks ago, and I think they're having some outbreaks, and they may be going back, they may be sending the kids back home. So I think that then there's some inequities, right, around kind of what that online experience looked like for the students based on the resources the teachers had available, the resources families had available. So there's going to be this odd unevenness, I worry about when we see those students coming in. Not to mention, the senior year in high school is also like a really important cultural transition year for students. And so we're going to get a lot of young people who missed out on that. They missed out on prom, missed out on some of those markers, those rituals that sort of get them ready for coming to college. So I think we're going to need to think about what does that mean, and what do we expect, and how can we help and support those students with their integration back into this regular teaching mode and context. I think that there's going to be a real desire, need for community and helping with facilitation. I have an introvert for a daughter, and I can tell I have two daughters. I have one daughter that's an introvert and one that's an extrovert. They are complete opposites. I worry about my own daughter as an introvert going to college, because I think she's going to need, she's been kind of like very inwardly focused, doing lots of cool things. I think and she's gotten like comfortable in that space. She was already kind of comfortable in that space. So I think that when she goes to college, it's going to be really important to have some resources that are going to help to facilitate that kind of engagement. Because I think those skills either didn't get developed for some kids, were lost by some kids, were set aside. And I think we're going to have to kind of really support them in helping with that. On the positive end, we have discovered a lot about what we can do with technology, and we've also discovered a lot about kind of the technological structural inequities that exist. You know, we found out some students, you know, had one computer in the house for 8 people. We found out some students had really bad internet connection. We had some kids who tried to do their entire semester using their phone. Like that was where they could get. So now we are cognizant of that, and so we need to make sure we have resources to support the technological needs of our students and make that a high priority. You know, I think we kind of knew that. I don't think we realized the depth of it, and now we do. We know what that means. We discovered that we can, like we created a classroom that was just for this hybrid mode, so the teacher could be, I could be in this room teaching to 8 students over here or 10 students here, and the 4 of you there, and I can do a whole class. We have some faculty that got really good at that. Now we're looking at, well, can we use that, since we figured that out, maybe call that online remote. Is that something we can use maybe to engage students who are in different states, who can't or move to Ohio, but like to take advantage of some of our programs and don't want to do an online asynchronous class? They want to be part of a group, or they want to be in the class. Like, we can actually use technology to kind of remote you into the class. And so that's something one of our departments is going to be exploring with, we're trying to build a partnership with a college, a community college in California, where we're hoping to maybe have a few students join through the technology that we built during COVID. We're going to have them join us as part of, you know, we have programs that have capacity, and we have faculty that have mastered this technology in the last year. So we're going to see what that looks like and what we can do with that. And I think that we are, you know, getting ready to see what happens in the fall in terms of students coming back to college. We're trying to help the students who, we lost some students. We lost some students who, in our college, I was really particularly proud of our, the work that we've done around retention and graduation rates. We've done an excellent job in increasing those rates. And we've also did a really good job in reducing the equity gap. In fall 2019, we actually did not have an equity gap in my college. African-American, Latinx students, majority students had about the same first-year retention rate. I was very proud of that. But unfortunately, during COVID, what we've seen reflects kind of what we've seen in the country across the board, that the COVID impacts have definitely impacted people of color and low-income communities in more significant ways. And as a result, we saw the drop, almost a double-digit increase in the drop from fall to spring retention. And then when we did drill down to see, well, who were the students that we lost from fall to spring, they were majority girls of color. And I think that's because they're the ones staying at home, helping with the little kids, helping with daycare while someone else has to leave the home to go to work, helping get, you know, the 4th grader through the Zoom learning. I think a lot more of the caregiving for ill parents and family members, I think that fell on the shoulders of young women, particularly women of color. And as a result, we saw those kids stop coming. They didn't come back for the spring. So one of our big projects, we're trying to see if we can actively get all those young people that were on track in their education prior to COVID, and make sure that we get them back on track. And, you know, how do we facilitate that so they can come back to school, get back on track with their degrees. So those are just some of the things that we've been looking at and thinking about.
Thank you. Any questions? Okay. I'm going to roll into a quick Alumni Association update, and then I would like to give all of you a chance to share any feedback or specific topics that you are interested in. My role specifically is to provide opportunities for you to stay engaged. So I really want to make sure that you're taking the time to attend these meetings and, you know, hear an update about what's happening within the college, but we want to make sure that we are keeping you connected to the areas that you're most interested in. So I will provide a quick update on alumni engagement report. Some of the stuff that I wrote down is more local information, but I think it's really important to share these dates and updates because they are things that the Alumni Association has historically worked on for many, many years. And we're really anxious and excited to potentially be able to do some of the stuff this year if it's safe and we're able to come up with a plan that makes the most sense for our alumni and students. Cindy had asked earlier about our annual meeting that is scheduled for May 15th. And if you're available, they haven't released the time for that yet. It's typically, I think they're bouncing around between 10 a.m. and noon Eastern time, just depending on what our Board of Trustees lands on. We want to make sure we're accommodating our West Coast alums. But I highly encourage you to check that out. It will be recorded if you're unable to attend that virtual Zoom, but it is an opportunity to hear all of the wonderful things that the Alumni Association has accomplished throughout the year. You're able to meet our board members and hear a little bit about what our goals are for the upcoming fiscal year. Charlene mentioned spring commencement. So pleased that university decided to move forward with a in-person commencement. I am fortunate enough to sit in those weekly planning meetings, and they're doing a lot of behind the scenes work to make sure that that is a safe and enjoyable experience for our students and their family members. If you have attended an Alumni Association event in the past, you might have heard about our Art on the Mall event. We are tentatively looking at July 25th. If you've been to Toledo recently, the Alumni Association has moved into a new building. We currently occupy the old Dana HCR Manicure building. Welltower currently occupies a piece of that space directly across the street from Inverness off of Dorr Street. But it is a massive piece of property. The University of Toledo is going through some construction this summer, so we have decided to move Art in the Mall to our property off of Dorr Street. We're really hopeful that we're able to make that happen, space out our vendors, and provide an enjoyable experience for our alumni and the Toledo community. Homecoming. Fingers crossed that there is a football season and we are able to welcome fans into the Glass Bowl. But most importantly, we have a class of distinguished alumni who we had intended to award in 2020. We are unable to do that, so we have rolled those award winners over to 2021 and look forward to honoring a distinguished alum for each academic college the weekend of October 9th. For the College of Arts and Letters, we are honoring Jeff Coleman, who is the Chief Communications and Marketing Officer for Bentley Motors based out of Washington, D.C. He was a Toledo native that ended up at the University of Toledo and has such an incredible story and speaks so highly of the university and all the work that we've accomplished throughout his time at the institution. So we're really looking forward to recognizing him as the 2020 and 2021 Distinguished Alum from the College of Arts and Letters. Some quick updates on some of the things that our office has accomplished throughout the year. And I say year, the pandemic year is really the time frame that we're looking at. But we talked a lot about in Charlene's update, some of the transitions and going primarily virtual. Our office is so thankful that we've had the opportunity to successfully provide virtual platforms for our alumni. Without the use of Zoom and virtual platforms for engagement, we wouldn't have a lot of you on the call today. Cindy can probably attest to this, but in the past, our alumni affiliate meetings, such as this one, were primarily open to alumni that were local to Toledo. That didn't do us any favors. We have great alumni in the Toledo area, like Cindy, that was coming to our meetings and really helping us engage with alumni and do some wonderful things. But we've learned that we have alumni all over the country who are interested in joining us and helping us come up with opportunities for alumni to stay engaged. So we will continue the virtual platform piece as we move forward in our planning for years to come. Throughout the last year, we've launched our virtual book club. We've reached a larger audience of alumni. We've implemented a 3-year strategic plan, which is a little bit different for us because we are working off of 1-year plans, which made it really hard for us to track our engagement and really understand what our alumni were interested in. We've spent the last year developing more scholarships that we were able to make available to students. Before Ryan jumped off the call, he mentioned having a meeting at 6 to review our LGBTQA plus scholarship applications. This is the first year our office has awarded a scholarship specifically for LGBTQA plus students. So we're really proud of that. We have launched national benefits programs, national discount programs, and improved our collaboration with our development and annual giving team. So we've done some really great things throughout the last year, despite the challenges created by the pandemic. And we're really looking forward to the upcoming months and kind of seeing what the future holds in terms of in-person gatherings and continuing to find ways for all of you to stay connected. Any questions about the Alumni Association?
Yes, I have a couple short questions.
Yes, ma'am.
I noticed that you mentioned about 2-year term limit for board members. Does that apply to someone like me if I'm just coming to meetings and attending freely?
Nope. So that's for our
Sorry, I was
our
not aware.
larger alumni. So like the alumni association board that includes all of our academic college representatives. So they have 2-year terms, 3-year terms, 4-year terms. But for
Oh, I
this
see.
group specifically, we do not have terms to serve on affiliate boards.
Good, because I plan on going nowhere. I want to be there. I love it. I
That's
just
what we
wanted
like to hear.
I just wanted to make sure I wasn't going to be thrown off in a year. Yeah, you're done. We got to make room for new. Yeah.
Absolutely
Okay.
not.
No problem. Okay. And then real quickly also, I do want to clarify something else here. You mentioned about the virtual piece. I think it's a great idea that we have people from all over the country on, like Georgia. Do we have somebody from Minnesota today? Is there any possibility that we're going to actually be in the in-person part again? Because I want to see the new building you're in.
Yes. So we anticipate, we will go back to in-person.
Okay, good.
But our new building has fancy technology that allows us to incorporate the virtual platform. So that way folks
Okay.
from out of town can call into all of our meetings, attend our events.
Excellent.
So currently the Alumni Association is following the University of Toledo's guidelines, and we are not hosting any in-person gatherings or in-person events until after July 1st of this year.
Right. Right.
So,
Great.
but I am hopeful and confident that after July 1, we'll be able, our building is huge.
I've been wanting to
We can
see you.
host meetings in an auditorium and be
Yeah.
several feet apart from the person next to us. So
Right.
yeah, so we will go back to having in-person gatherings, but if there's an opportunity to have a virtual component, we will continue to do
wonderful.
that also.
Right, especially if I may not be able to make it, but I would need to know in advance so I can make transportation arrangements,
Sure.
a week or I know in there. And the other thing is too is, I really like that, but also regarding the in-person, I've always said that I am fully vaccinated, by the way. I'm ready to go out and start gathering slowly, but because we don't know if I'm vaccinated yet, but I am. So I'm very proud of that.
That's what I like to hear.
Yeah, hopefully you are
I
too.
just was very fortunate to get my second shot this afternoon.
Good
so
job. And so are my parents too. Yeah.
I'm
So,
hoping
yeah,
that's not affecting my ability to read my notes.
No. Thanks.
All right. So the only other update that I wanted to provide this evening, those of you that have attended meetings in the past, or if you are new to tonight's board meeting, I wanted to just briefly kind of give you a quick update as where we're at with this particular board. We are working very, very hard to recruit a full board of affiliate members to help us moving forward with planning events, awarding scholarships, providing opportunities for you to stay connected. So while there are 4 alums on the call, and then 5 if we include Ryan, who had to leave us a little bit early, we do have other Alumni Association board members that have been working with us and attending meetings, but we're really working hard to recruit additional members to kind of help us with a full board. My goal is by the end of our fiscal year, which is June 30th of 2021, is to have a full board, which we say are 15 board members, and work towards kind of asking our alums to serve in leadership positions. So having a president, a vice president, a secretary, a treasurer. I am not an alum of the college. I am an alum of the University of Toledo, but I want to provide all of you with an opportunity to really navigate where you would like this board to go and how you would like to be involved. So my goal is to eventually have a group of alumni board members and alumni board members serving in leadership capacities that can help navigate your interest and keep you connected. If there's things that you heard Charlene discuss this evening that you want more follow-up on, I am here to be that liaison and help get you that information. But our goal is by the end of this fiscal year to build a full board of trustees. So if you have suggestions, if you have alumni contacts that you think would be a great fit, let me know. I'm more than happy to make those connections and reach out to fellow alums, but I at least wanted to share that information. I don't want to speak for Charlene, but I think she would really enjoy a full board of alums that kind of help her vision for the college and really help put some great things on the calendar for the upcoming year. My ring, I apologize, my ring camera just keeps going off. Something is happening outside my home. Does anyone have any questions for me about the Alumni Association?
Yeah, I just wanted to confirm. So May 15th, that'll be a virtual event.
Yes, sir.
And then the first in-person will be July 25th, that like the arts event. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
We're very hopeful. Art on the Mall is one of our staple signature events. And it's also a revenue generator for the Alumni Association. So it was very unfortunate that we were unable to host that event in 2020, but completely understandable given the circumstances. But we're hopeful that that will be our first, July 25th will be our first signature event that we can hold in person. There might be some smaller affiliate events that they do in person, depending on the college or the group, but I anticipate that July 25 being the first signature event we're able to do.
Okay, yeah. I'm just going to keep up with that calendar because I'm finding myself every now and again, every 3 or so months in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Last time we were up there, yeah, we just went up to Toledo. So this definitely would be a good way for me to just plan a trip and also do the university at the same time.
Yeah, let us know when you're in town.
Yeah, once I'm able to start traveling again, our main offices are in Ann Arbor. So at least once a month, I drive through Toledo to get to Ann Arbor and be happy either on the way home or on the way up to the office to come by. So, I mean, that's an easy stop for me. It's right along the way. And, be happy to do that at some point.
And unfortunately, I still have family that lives in Toledo. So I have to come often. I mean, I get to come often. Pleasure.
It's a magical place, Toledo, Ohio.
The
But I tell you what, after being in that warm Georgia weather and all the beautiful scenery, I'm like, I'm never coming back.
Peaches, a lot of good peaches.
Well, I don't want to take up too much more of your evening, but I want to give all of you an opportunity to share any feedback, or if there are specific areas that you would like us to connect you to. We are at our last meeting, we briefly discussed some virtual event topics, putting together some virtual networking events, and I'm working on setting some of that information up now, just looking at dates with the academic calendar. And I need to touch base, Charlene, with your team to see what the calendar looks like for the College of Arts and Letters, but keep an eye out for some of that information. But yeah, I wanted to at least give all of you an opportunity to share any feedback or thoughts that you have.
So, longstanding member of the LGBTQ community, so happy to help however that works for the university. I'm happy to see that they're taking a stance in that area. Health and equity has always been a big thing for me. Especially lately. I'm a board member of the AIDS Foundation of Chicago, and it's a big focus. And because of everything that's happened the last year with everything, the health and equity problem is a big thing. So however I can help there, but I'm intimately connected to the Department of Psychology. It was very active when I was there in the 80s. We had research up the yin-yang then, and I think it's kind of taken aside. And I'd love to help encourage that department to kind of get back into the research mode as much as they need to do more. I think they're doing some, but there's a lot to be done in the psychology area. Mental health has taken a massive focus for employers across the country. And there's more digital apps on mental health than there are toilet paper. So I think they should have a say. And I think, however I could help formulate something that the department would do around that, I'd love to get reconnected back to the Department of Psychology.
I'm with you, Tom. Also being an alum from the psych department,
Yeah.
as well, and I became a developmental psychologist, and I taught adolescent development, did research in that area, and also my focus for a good 20 years was the impact of civic engagement on adolescent and young adult development. That is still a wide open area, especially now, recovering from the pandemic, it will be arts and letters, institutions, the core curriculum in the liberal arts that will get us to the other side to address the things you were just mentioning, and Charlene the same. I mean, my hope is that there's a resurgence in the purpose of the liberal arts education, liberal arts and sciences, is to create educated citizens. And this is that's where my heart is, and so I'm hopeful and will be helpful in any way possible on that topic.
I was fortunate enough to be an honors psychology member, and so I participated in research. I still have my research paper on the mental rotation of objects that I got an A on from the team. So I remember the whole Dr. Half and everybody that was there. So
gosh, yeah, I had courses with Bob Hoff too.
I know, right?
Yes.
So
yeah.
It's bringing back a lot of great memories.
Yes, yeah. Oh, that's great.
Would you all like to, I'm wondering, what if we invited the chair of psychology to the next alumni affiliate meeting, and you could hear about what's going on in psychology, the research, and just get an update from her directly, maybe.
Yeah, I'd love to hear from her because I know she's really connected.
Yeah, I'd love to. Thank you, Charlene.
Are you Nick?
Yes, I am. Yes.
Hi, I'm Cindy. I think I introduced them before. I heard you mention psychology earlier, and I actually had a minor in psychology for both my degrees here at UT, and I wasn't there in the 80s. I'm younger than that, but I don't know if you had if you remember Dr. Steen.
No, it doesn't ring a bell. I was there from
Okay.
75 to 79 in the psych department,
probably
so
why.
it's been a
But I
while.
took psychology, and I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved
Great.
it. And I took everything, but not only psychology, but communication, they go hand in hand with each other.
Yeah.
That
You
was my
can't have
second
to be-
major.
Oh, really?
I double
That's
majored
my
in psychology and
major, so-
communication. So yes.
Wow. Too bad you're not here in Toledo now. I'd love to meet you, but
Ah,
yeah.
well,
so really,
someday that'll happen.
I
Yes.
know. So it does play a part. Psychology and communication do go together, and if you can't communicate your problems, then that's half the battle. So
Mhm.
what you're doing is great. I love what you're doing, and that sounds good. So great.
Thanks.
Sure.
Any other
Anyway.
feedback?
Ray, would love to hear from you. I know you've got a lot of depth in some of these areas. So.
I'm trying to be quiet. I just got an email from Billy Pierce, and so I think university must be listening in on everything I
He keeps
Oh.
close tabs on me, I can tell you that.
say. Oh, boy.
Is he working late again? We always exchange emails after 8 p.m. and tease each other. I'm like, what are you doing at the office at 8 p.m.?
Not 8 yet.
You'll get an email soon, 8 o'clock. I assure you. Ray, thank you for your gift.
You bet.
towards Cindy.
Oh,
Very
you.
kind,
Happy
thank you.
to-
All right. Well, I love the idea of including our department chair for psychology in the next meeting, Charlene. I can work with you to get that meeting invite over. And if there are any other areas or suggestions, ideas that you have, this is an open chain of communication. Please don't hesitate to reach out. I'm here to be a resource. And like I said, I want to make sure that you are getting out of, serving on this board, as much time as you're giving. We want to make sure that we give back also Tom, I made a note on my calendar. I'm gonna send you some information. You mentioned honors also. I oversee the honors alumni affiliate as well. We don't have a board for the honors affiliate, but we're doing like monthly networking events. So you're always more than welcome to jump on one of those, but I'll definitely get you some resources and maybe spend some time chatting about our LGBT affiliate. But with that, thank you all for attending.
Thank
So
you. It's
good to see all of you.
Thanks, everyone. Nice to meet
Everybody.
everybody.
Enjoy the warm
Take care.
weather.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank
Good luck.
you.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.